Hello, I'm in the garden and I'm harvesting Egyptian onion. So it is May 2nd and I'm doing a lot of harvesting today. And as you can see, that's Egyptian onion. They are perennial and I'm in zone 5A. So I will show you places that I have it in the garden, but right now let's go to I'm in the front garden. So let's go where I'm going to harvest it. I have a bunch in my hand. Pretty much what I'm trying to do is I'm harvesting enough that I can carry in one hand, and then I'll go chop it up and put in the freezer bag for my freezer. So as you can see here, I have a lot of them here, and I'm just going to harvest some. And you can see that I have dandelion in the garden, so that'll be one thing to harvest as well and put and freeze. But for now, I'm just harvesting them, and what I'm trying to do here is just making sure that I leave two leaves on the plants, and they grow early in spring. So if I don't harvest them now, pretty soon they will have a shoot for the flower, to set seed. And when they do that, they will start producing the leaves. So that's the best time for me to harvest them for winter. And I'm harvesting now for winter. And to eat now, like what I'm cooking, funny onion, I'll just go outside and I'll harvest. But the one that I'm harvesting now is to freeze for winter. And I don't know yet how many gallons of onion that I'm targeting to harvest this year. I'll just harvest as much as I can to see how many gallons I'll be able to harvest. So I have a lot in the garden, and I don't buy onion anymore. So I just have enough in the garden for my supply. And when I don't have it, then I just do without. And I try to plan better so that I can have enough for the following year. So I'm just trying to, right now I have at the end of winter, I will say by the end of April, I have 1 gallon bag left in the freezer. So that means I was able to harvest enough to go through winter. So I'm just going to try the same thing this year. But this time I'm trying to recall what I'm harvesting to see how many gallons that I was able to harvest. So right now I have enough in my hand for 1 gallon bag at least, I think. So I have them. I'm just going to show you places that I have them. That I have like a big clump. You will see that in some areas I have some but not a lot. So I'm going to walk around to see where I will find them, and I will harvest. And I will try to do that as often as possible before they start shooting their flower stem. So now as you can see, they are around here. As well. So I will just walk around harvesting they are there. And we will see them here as well. But they are pretty much all over the garden. That's how I planted them. So I will harvest the bulbs and I will replant to propagate. And because of existing onion, I don't buy onion any longer. So I have some here as well. And I don't like to get to this one because that's what I'll be using during the summertime and all that, even in fall, because it's raw below my kitchen window. I can just come down and harvest. And you can see that I put a lot of food scrap on the floor. I mulch my garden, so I will put my food scrap right on top of it to compost right in place. So I don't have compost bin, everything in one place, and they break down very quickly. But personally, I prefer fruit peels than cooked food. And here there is a bunch of flowers, and I planted at the side of the house, and I planted onions here. So I will come here and I will harvest them. Though that's onion here and that's the flower. So there are quite a bit here. I try to plant them away from the building because there was flower here before we moved in, and I was not able to get rid of them. But they are pretty flowers, so I just try to keep them away from the building. And I planted onions right among them, onion and garlic. So I will come here and I'll harvest a lot of them as well. So the next place we will go, you can see that there is a lot of flowers. Mama? Yes, Jaden. And that's where we came from. So let's move and see another area that we can find a big patch. I try to have some here. They are growing, but it's not a lot here. And I have some here as well in this area, pretty much. In the garden, I do have quite a bit in different areas, but we are not going in. You can see that there is straight ahead. I have some there. And I have a big part. I have, yeah, a lot of them here as well. So I will see how many gallons I'll be able to harvest before they start shooting their flower head. So now let's get in and see what we can do with this. Yeah, I think I have some on the side here as well, mixed with garlic. Because I mulch the garden, I don't have dirt on my greens most of the time. So pretty much, because onions leaves is hollow, when I harvest them, I will have juice flowing, and I don't like to dip them in water. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to rinse them quickly and chop them. And I will try not to have water inside. So the best way to do that would be to have it upside down, but I don't want to have it upside down for too long for the juice to flow out. And that's the beauty of having perennials. Before you start planting onions, they will be ready for harvest. So I'm done rinsing it. I'm just going to chop it up. And I don't try to chop it fine or anything, but it's good if you can. I just don't have that time. Are you ready? Get your food out of the oven and put ketchup on it. Did you comb your hair? No? Get your food out so that it can cool while you are combing your hair. Make sure you put gloves on. You can put on this table here, or do you want to put on your table?
There's no ketchup in it.
No, I said to get it out and to put ketchup on it yourself. Do you want to do it?
But there's not that many ketchup.
And be careful not to make a mess, okay?
That many
Yes,
ketchup.
that's why your sister has it like that. So go put some in your on your egg roll or what. So now we are done with that one. Let's rinse more. And the beauty of Egyptian onion is it grows on top and it grows at the bottom. So I don't eat the one from the bottom. I'll eat some, but not much. I eat the one from the top after I've replanted most of them. I'll keep some for eating, but I plan ahead. I plan on the leaves, so I like to have enough leaves harvested and chop, freeze for winter. And one thing you should know about, I should point out about Egyptian onion is it doesn't do well in storage. So the bubbles, when I bring it home, after planting most of them, they don't stay here for too long before they'll get soft or dry out. So yeah, they are good to eat right from the garden, but yeah, it's not something I count on to have all winter in a basket in the kitchen. And I'll assume the bulb from the ground will be the same as well. I'm talking about the bubbles on top. But I think the bulbs from the ground will have the same feature, short storage. So I'm just going to transfer them here so that I can pretty much guess how much I harvested. And when I'm putting things in my bag, I'll try to make it loose. Even though it's just the leaves, it burns eyes, like make eyes watery. So I like to use it for cough, natural remedy as well. I'll chop it up, pound it with a mortar and pestle, and I'll add it to a jar, add honey to, and put it in the fridge for weeks, if not months, and later I will just strain it and put it back in the fridge. And the kids like to drink it when they have cough in winter time. And I made one probably 2 years ago. I still have it in the fridge. That's our last batch here. And pretty much during when the garden is, things are growing in the garden, I don't really rely on my freezer for greens. I'll just go in the garden. So the one that I'm freezing is to be eaten in winter time. I don't have greenhouse. I don't intend to have one either. So I just plan accordingly to harvest things as they are ready to be harvested, so that I don't have to purchase greens in winter time. And I don't buy greens, spinach, kales. So I don't buy them. We harvest enough from our garden for our supply. So that's pretty much, I will say, that's the gallon here. So that's 2/3. And I have my freezer bag ready here, dated with the name. It's very important for me to date the bag. That way at the end of in fall, I will reorganize my freezer and I'll pull things that are froze from last year to the top, and put things that are froze this year to the bottom. So, and sometimes some greens, it's kind of hard to tell what is in the bag. So I just made it a rule to date and name the bag. So and that's pretty much what I'm going to do for a while, to see how much I'll be able to harvest. But when my garden is flourishing, those perennials is like a marathon. I have to do with them to keep up with them and harvest on time. So I'm just going to press it down. I'm just trying to press it down to take the oil, the air out. And it's good for the freezer. That's pretty much it. And I'll do more of that, and I'll put in the freezer, chest freezer, have a freezer for my vegetables, and that will go in it. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Afiavi Ojune Liberman, creators of Liberman Consulting L.L.C YouTube channel and owners of Nina Soap. Now website is ninasoap.com.